60, I finally found true happiness. I used to think happiness was something you earned, like a medal you got for surviving life. But now, standing barefoot on my porch in Asheville, North Carolina, watching the sun melt over the Blue Ridge Mountains, I realize happiness isn't earned. It's allowed. You simply have to stop fighting it. For 60 years, I didn't. I chased it like a ghost, always sure it was hiding behind the next promotion, the next man, the next version of myself. My name's Elaine Porter, and this is how I finally stopped running. I was born in Cleveland, Ohio in 1965. My parents were good people, practical, church-going, hard-working. My mother used to say, "Happiness doesn't pay the bills, sweetheart." So I learned early that joy was a luxury. You worked, you saved, you smiled when you were supposed to. At 18, I left for Boston University. I thought if I studied hard and got out of Ohio, I'd finally feel alive. And for a while I did. The city lights, the coffee shops near Commonwealth Avenue, the sound of rain hitting the Charles River. But even then, the quiet emptiness followed me everywhere, like static in the background of my thoughts. After college, I moved to Chicago and married a man named Mark. He was stable, responsible, the kind of man everyone said I should marry. We had 2 kids, a house in Naperville, and a golden retriever named Daisy. I was living the American dream, or at least that's what my Christmas card suggested. But I was exhausted. Every morning, I'd wake before dawn, make lunches, answer work emails, get the kids ready for school, and commute an hour downtown. The days blurred together, like a playlist stuck on repeat. Sometimes I'd sit in traffic on the Eisenhower Expressway and wonder if anyone around me felt as hollow as I did. By 45, my marriage was crumbling. Mark and I had stopped talking about anything real years earlier. We spoke in logistics, bills, groceries, schedules. One night, he came home late, smelling of perfume that wasn't mine, and I didn't even have the strength to be angry. I just felt tired. The divorce was quiet. No yelling, no drama, just a signature on paper and 23 years of my life folded into cardboard boxes. After that, I focused on my career. I climbed the corporate ladder, working for a marketing firm in downtown Chicago. I thought if I became successful enough, I could fill the void with purpose. But every promotion felt emptier than the last. By 55, my kids were grown and living their own lives. One in Seattle, one in Austin. I was proud of them. But when I came home at night to my silent apartment, I felt invisible. Then came the moment that changed everything. It was an ordinary Tuesday in February. I was standing in the office kitchen, waiting for the coffee machine to finish its slow, gurgling drip, when my chest tightened. The world started spinning. I collapsed. A mild heart attack, the doctor said. "You've been running on empty for years," he told me. "Your body finally said enough." Lying in that hospital bed, surrounded by the sterile beeps of machines, I realized something terrifying. I had spent my entire life surviving, not living. I had been chasing approval, money, and control, but never peace. When I was discharged, I didn't go back to work. I packed up what little I cared about, some old photographs, a journal, and Daisy's worn-out collar, and I drove south. No plan, no destination, just me and the open road. I drove through Tennessee, past fields of sunflowers and faded gas stations. I slept in motels where the air smelled like old cigarettes and rain. Somewhere near Asheville, North Carolina, I stopped at a diner called Maggie's Place. I ordered blueberry pancakes, and the waitress, a woman with kind eyes and gray hair tied in a messy bun, asked where I was headed. "I don't know," I said. She smiled. "Then you're already halfway there." That sentence changed me. I rented a small cabin on the edge of town. Nothing fancy, just wood and warmth and silence. For the first time in decades, I had no meetings, no responsibilities, no one to impress, just time. At first, the quiet was unbearable. I'd sit on the porch, staring at the trees, and feel this urge to do something, to fix, plan, achieve. But slowly the stillness stopped feeling like loneliness. It started feeling like peace. I began walking every morning at sunrise, through trails lined with wildflowers and mist. I'd wave to strangers, learn their names. Tom, the retired firefighter who fed the neighborhood stray cats, and June, who sold honey at the farmer's market downtown. I started helping at the local library, reading to kids on Saturdays. I joined a pottery class where my clumsy bowls turned into conversations, and those conversations turned into friendships. One evening, I met Henry, a 62-year-old carpenter with laugh lines deeper than the wrinkles on my palms. He'd lost his wife 5 years earlier and spent his days building rocking chairs he donated to a local hospice. We talked about everything: loss, love, music, the smell of rain after summer storms. He never tried to fix me. He just listened. And slowly, I learned how to listen too, not to others, but to myself. I realized that all those years I had confused comfort with happiness. I had thought that a full calendar meant a full life. But happiness wasn't in the noise. It was in the quiet. At 60, I finally understood that joy doesn't always come as fireworks. Sometimes it arrives as a soft whisper, the sound of wind through pine trees, the warmth of a cup of coffee shared with someone who sees you, truly sees you. Now my days are simple. I wake up to birds instead of alarms. I write letters instead of emails. I bake bread on Sundays, and my house smells like cinnamon and butter. Sometimes my kids visit, bringing their own storms of laughter and chaos. We sit by the fire telling stories about the lives we've lived and the lives we're still discovering. And every night, before I go to bed, I write one sentence in my journal. Today, I was alive. Because that's what happiness really is. Not the constant high, not the absence of pain, but the quiet knowing that even after everything, you are still here. When I turned 60 last year, Henry threw me a small birthday party at the local park. Friends brought homemade pies, someone played old Fleetwood Mac songs on a guitar, and fireflies danced around the picnic tables. At one point, I looked around, at the people I had grown to love, at the mountains glowing under the sunset, and I started to cry. Not because I was sad, but because I finally felt whole. I spent so much of my life waiting for the right time to be happy. The right job, the right man, the right number on the scale. But the truth is, there is no right time. There is only right now. Happiness, I've learned, isn't something you chase. It's something you let catch up to you. And when it does, it feels like standing barefoot on a porch in the golden hour, breathing in the smell of rain and pine, and realizing that after 60 years, you finally made it home.